Here's a segment from a recent Gun Talk Radio episode. You can listen to all the Gun Talk Radio podcast however you tune in, or check out guntalk.com for more. Policy conference is put on by the Second Amendment Foundation and its sister organization, the Citizens Committee for the Right to Keep and Bear Arms. Now, I came in a day early because I'm on the SAF board, Second Amendment Foundation board, and we had a combined board meeting between the Citizens Committee and SAF. Went all day long. We're in this transition period, and we've talked about it before. Alan Gottlieb, the founder, is still here as the chairman. We brought in Adam Kraut as the new executive director. We're seeing a little bit of a change, a little bit of a different flavor. If you haven't seen the website change, holy cow, saf.org, the website now is terrific. We were looking like 1970s, and now it's looking pretty darn good. That's just an example of what's been going on. So it's been a great time, and we talked to a lot of interesting people. And also you get to see some of your old friends, because it's kind of like Old Home Week or maybe summer camp, if you will. Joining me right now is one of those, Clark Aposhian. He's the chairman of the Utah Shooting Sports Council. Also got your own radio show, Clark. How you doing, man?
I do, and thanks for letting me plug Gun Radio Utah. No apologies. Thank you.
Absolutely.
You were on my very, very first show 10 years ago.
Is that right? And I didn't ruin it for you.
No, well, we recovered after that.
That's right. It took a year, but
yeah.
As I was like to say, I got both of my listeners back.
Yeah, that is correct. So this GRPC, I've gone to them before. I've been to the one in Texas and Chicago and San Francisco and that. But those were all a while ago, so I took a break.
Oh.
And I got to tell you that
it's different now.
One, for those that don't know about Gun Rights Policy Conference, it isn't about dealers. It isn't about manufacturers of firearms. It's about grassroots, and you are basically, I don't want to say force-fed because that seems, but you're force-fed grassroots activism.
It is the fire hose, though.
Yeah, there you go. And you hear from the biggest movers and shakers in firearm gun rights that can be. All the attorneys that are doing constitutional law, the attorneys in the states, the lobbyists, the legislators that are fighting the bad bills and getting the good bills. And you hear more and more on the podcast people.
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously when I started, there were no podcasters because the iPod hadn't been invented. So that's how far back we go with Gun Talk Radio. But yeah, you got podcasters, you got people doing video, you got quote unquote influencers, all of that. What they really are, when you think about it, is just we keep creating more channels to distribute information. And originally, when I started Gun Talk Radio almost 30 years ago, it was designed to be an end run around the general media because we had nothing else. Talk radio was the only thing you could do that they couldn't censor with the general media. And so, I followed Rush Limbaugh's lead. That was what he was all about and why he was so popular. And of course, that was kind of actually almost predated the internet. Well, now we have all these channels, and anybody can be a broadcaster, influencer, what do they call it, a citizen journalist, and we've got a lot of them here. You mentioned the incredible people here. I call it walking among the giants. When we're walking around here and you have the absolute giants of Second Amendment scholarship, leadership, attorneys, and I'm not talking about just the people who are doing the work now. Chuck Michelle was here. And of course, we'll talk in a second about the incredible news we got on Friday coming out of California, that with the Duncan case. That was amazing. But you also have the people who were doing this 20 and 30 years ago and laying the groundwork, because if they hadn't done that, we would not have the Heller decision, the McDonald decision, and the Bruin decision, the trifecta of the cases that have made all the difference.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And I remember your instruction way back at the beginning of each big election cycle. You said, it's not necessarily about the president, it's about the judges. You said it, and you were 100% spot on.
It really is. It's like, okay, Donald Trump is not just not great on guns, he's bad on guns.
I sued him.
He really is. You sued him?
Well, we sued him and his administration on the bump stock.
Oh, that's
in fact,
right.
The case is still going on.
All right, we'll pick that up in just a second. But here's the deal. Donald Trump gave us three things that we can count on. We got 3 Supreme Court justices, which made all the difference. That's the only reason we have Bruin. But he also gave us a whole bunch, we're talking about a couple of hundred federal judges that have been making decisions on the basis of Bruen now. And clearly some judges still are having their post-Bruen tantrums, but a lot of them, that's even changing now. Even with some of them, they're going reluctantly, okay, that's the law. That's what the Supreme Court says. We're going to have to honor Bruen. And we wouldn't have that change without Donald Trump. So I bifurcate, if you will, on Trump. I know I wouldn't like to spend any time with him, and I don't think he's particularly cares about guns or gun owners, but I am very grateful for what he did for us. So yeah. I don't know. I feel conflicted.
Yeah, no, there's no doubt about it. You gotta take the wins where you get the wins, and I don't care who they come from. But you're right, because but hey, you got to look at what Biden's doing. Biden is confirming or having confirmed federal justices just at a record pace.
Sure.
And I'm hoping we don't get backwards again, get sideways again on that.
But imagine the gift he just gave us on Friday.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Benitez.
we now, no. I know the gift that Biden gave us.
Oh, you mean
because he gave us our new gun control czar.
Oh, yeah.
The gun violence czar.
Guns are us.
Kamala. I can't say it without laughing. Kamala Harris, she was the border czar, now she's going to be the gun violence czar. And it's like, okay, I was possibly worried about it. Now I'm not so much. Although I will say this, I understand what's really going on is they just created an office in the White House for every town for gun safety. This is the Bloomberg Gun Control Gun Ban Group now has an office in the White House. And that's serious and that's big.
No, and you're absolutely right, because it can add legitimacy to this completely backwards group, and tons of money behind that group. Sure. Oh, and you talked about some of the money that Bloomberg has and the Soros has, and if they really wanted to be at least ethically consistent, ethically honest, they'd have brought in some people from the industry, people and some pro-gun people, if they really, because on the
slap yourself. It's
well, I know, but Tom, the people when you look at the people that are working on suicide prevention,
right?
Okay, they bring in everybody. They bring in gun people. They bring in industry people. They bring in the doctors.
Anybody who can help.
Yeah, exactly.
That's really what it amounts to.
And we're actually seeing benefits on the veteran side and that kind of stuff on suicide prevention because they're bringing them in. I still have not gotten a call to be in that group of the gun violence. Well, the very word gun violence prevention.
I know. Hey, Kurt, let me ask you this. I got like a minute and a half left. Give us the quick update on the bump stock lawsuit.
It went to the United States Supreme Court, and it got held there over something 12 or 20 different conference sessions. And then Bruen came out, and the EPA case came out,
right,
which they're very similar to my case. And then the Supreme Court kicked it back to 10th Circuit. 10th Circuit sat on it for a while and finally said the ATF, anyway, the ATF wanted another 30 days, or no, wanted it dismissed. And the judge in the case just 2 weeks ago, my attorney said, no, their judge is going to hear it on the September 28th.
Really?
So
coming right
in
up.
10th Circuit. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, good luck with that.
Yeah.
All right. So tell people more about where they can find out more about Utah Shooting Sports Council.
UtahShootingSportsCouncil.org, the longest URL in the world. UtahShootingSportsCouncil.org. And you can find out a lot about us just by listening to Gun Radio Utah, but only after you've listened to Gun Talk with Tom Gresham.